Hey, welcome to another edition of Tea with Tasha. Thank you for your support, for liking, subscribing, sharing, getting the word out there. I'm so grateful. I wanted to make some videos for the younger women. I'm going to call them my baby girls. I was made aware that I had some younger viewers, some clients, daughters, and I was just so blessed. They like 17 and 19, and I was just so blessed to know that they watch and they look forward to it and that they are supporting me. So I'm just so very blessed. And these are the ones I feel like I can help the most because they're at the beginning. So I am so grateful and so blessed that my baby girls are watching. I hope that this information helps you in your journey. And man, I'm so excited. So I wanted to talk about for my baby girls that there are going to be like three major lessons. I had another one, but I can't think of what it was. But I know the one first major lesson that you need to learn in your life is to love yourself. And I know that may sound like, oh, I love myself, but like really love yourself. Really get to know who you are, what you like, what your desires are, and learn to love yourself and choose yourself in spite of peer pressure, circumstances, whatever it may be, because that's going to be a life lesson. All your choices are going to come from your self-worth and loving yourself. And the thing about these lessons is that if you don't learn them, they're going to reappear over and over again until you learn them, and they still will reappear in some form just to sharpen your skills and to test the boundary that you set for yourself. So loving yourself looks like that you're making the best choice for yourself, that you're not just out here making choices to please your friends. You know, if you're a people pleaser, that's not a good thing because you will get caught in a cycle of trying to please other people, and those choices may not benefit you. You have to learn to love yourself and love who you are. Be confident in who you are because those choices affect you later on in life. If you don't choose to love yourself and set healthy boundaries, say you have a baby because you want some love, that baby is going to give you a certain amount of love, but you're not going to be able to be the best mom because you didn't love yourself first. So you're going to make compromising choices with the baby because you want to make the baby happy. And that's not really the point of it. The point is to be a good mom and to give the baby or the child what they need, not what they want. Because we don't want to end up with riding kids because we gave them everything they wanted and not what they really needed. So I would say love yourself. One of the second life lesson is going to be patient. To learn to be patient with yourself, to be patient with the process of life, that everything that you want, you're not going to be able to get it immediately, that it's not going to happen overnight, that it's going to take time, that it's going to take effort and energy, and that you're going to just have to keep going and keep going. And you're just going to have to learn to be patient. When we don't make choices out of patience, we make rash choices, we're not going to really benefit ourselves. You know, if you're younger, you should be thinking about what you want to do with your life, what you're good at, what kind of career you want, and you don't want to just pick something randomly because at this point now it's going to cost you money, time, energy that you're not going to get back. So you want to make sure that you're making choices and being patient with yourself, being patient with your growth, and not just making choices because you are in a hurry. And I know when we're younger, we're always in a hurry because that's just what youth is. And the last one is it goes with the being patient, but resist impulses and instead make a plan. Resist being impulsive, just making quick choices and just going and doing things. Like, think about it. Just take a little time and learn to think about things. That's one of the critical things of one, growing up, and two, becoming a mature, healthy individual. Think things through. Give yourself some time. Think about what choice A leads to choice B, choice C, down the line. Think about how it's going to affect you because when you're young, you don't really think through things, how they're going to affect you, but your choices are going to affect you. And you want to make the best choices, because right now, if you between 17, 18, 19, even your early 20s, you have the opportunity to choose the life that you want. You can create the life that you want. You just have to take the time to think it through. How do you want that life to look? Loving yourself looks like setting boundaries. Setting boundaries with your friends, telling them no when you can't do it or can't make it, when something doesn't feel right, look right. Say no. Don't be the get along, to go along to get along kind of girl. Do what's best for you. And think about things before you do them. Don't just, be out here willy-nilly with your life. Setting your boundaries and keeping them. You just have to keep your boundaries, because those are the things that keep you safe. Those are the things that you choose for yourself. If you choose to go to bed at a certain time, don't let your girlfriend keep you up on the phone, or some guy friend keep you up on the phone all night on a regular basis, because that's not the boundary that you set for yourself. The boundary that you set for yourself is that I'm going to go to bed at a certain time because I need to get up at a certain time to be able to function well the next day. Develop good habits, especially good study habits, because you may or may not be good in school, but I know when I was in school, I worked for a dentist, and he was very industrious and very much wanted the best for his money. So he showed me how to work, what to do if it wasn't, patience, and just, he was very hard on me, but I needed it because I needed to learn good work habits. And when I learned to come home from school and get my homework done as soon as I came home and not put it off, my grade went from, like, let's say a C, probably D, to A's and B's. And I was like a junior in high school, maybe the end of sophomore year, but all of junior year and senior year. And I was so proud of myself. Like, I would put my own report card on the refrigerator because I was just so proud of myself, because sometimes it's not that we don't know the information or that we're not smart. It's the habits that we have that produce unsuccessful results. That was just, I would need to learn study habits, because what I would do is I would come home from school, be tired, probably because I stayed up too late the night before, go to sleep, and then wake up at 7. And so now you up at 7, and by then your brain is spent. She doesn't want to work anymore. And so now you're trying to make her work. She tired, and she might not be sleepy, but your focus is gone. You already had to focus in school. If you got homework, come home, get your work done, do your studying, because once you go to sleep, trying to stay up all night, then you create another cycle. You up all night, and you got to get up early in the morning. Unfortunately, a lot of these schools start really early. And so you have to, the same cycle. You up late, then you got to get up early, and you running on E. Develop good study habits, because those are the habits that are going to take you into the next phase of life. Everything that you're doing now is going to implement in the next phase of life. So say you learn good study habits, and you learn to go to bed at a certain time, and you learn how much sleep do you need. Like, these are the things that you need to be figuring out in at least 8 hours when you're young, because you're still growing and your body needs it. But how much sleep do you need? How long does it take you to get ready in the morning without being stressed out? Prepare the night before. Lay your clothes out, lay your homework, whatever you need. Do not wake your parents up at 6 in the morning or 7 in the morning, whatever time, trying to get them to sign papers, and they either trying to get ready for work or whatever the case is. And I've done it myself, and my kids do it, bringing papers to the bed. And it's like, no, learn to prepare, learn to organize. I know when my nieces were little, they were like 5 years old, and I gave them date books, and they were like, TT, what we going to do with this? And I was like, plan. Make your plans, organize your life. You are the boss of your life. Organize it well, do well, prepare. The future is for those who prepare for it. So if you don't prepare for the future, you are just going to be bumping from action to action to action. You're just going to be bumping from Circumstances. Nothing's going to be plain. You're just going to be bumping along. Plan. Take some time to say, okay, I have this coming up. I need to do this. Don't stress your parents out trying to make them go to Walmart and Walgreens late at night because you need a poster board. If a parents keep poster board in your house because they always going to need it and they're not going to tell you. And man, you just going to be like, I got to go to Walgreens, and if they don't have it, I got to go to another one and another. And it's just a stressful place to be. But plan, you know what you need. You know what your assignments are. And I will say that high school is the hardest part that I can see. I'm almost 50. From when I look back on my life, high school was the hardest part because you like half adult, half kid, and you don't have a lot of control over your life. Like when you're in college, you can plan your classes. You can say, okay, I want to go to school in the mornings or I want to go to school in the evenings. I'm not going to pick a class on a Friday. Like you have more choices. But high school is hard just because it's so much social things going on. Everybody's growing. People are trying to date. Women are catty. Boys are being young men. Everybody's trying to figure out their life, and they're trying to figure it out based on where they are in life. Like some kids are figuring out a little bit. Some kids don't have to work. Some kids have to. So it's just a lot going on. But the older you get, the better it gets. I know high school is hard. Just get through it the best way you can. And try to do your best in high school because your grades and everything, it does matter. Your choices, your reputation, it all matters. So try to think through your life and what you're doing in high school. Try to plan. Prepare for the next day. Prepare your lunch, whatever you're going to need, because you don't want to be stressed out because you forgot something or you didn't have something. It's just not worth it. I think preparation is probably the best thing that you can do for yourself, because if you learn to organize and control your life now, then when you get into the next phase of life and you have to do it independently, that means that you're in college and you have to work independently because your parents, they don't know anything. They're not going to be able to, the school is not going to call them and say, hey, he missed so-and-so assignment or he missed school today. It's just not there. So you're going to have to learn to oversee your own self. You're going to have to learn to regulate your own self. And the better you know yourself, the better off you'll be. If you know that you need breakfast in the morning, then you need to make that kind of plan, because you don't want to be in school or college or wherever you are, your stomach hurting because you're hungry, you upset, you need to figure out what your needs are. If your cycle is coming, if you're a young lady, you need to learn how to manage that, and how to manage if you have a lot of pain or a lot of bleeding. You need to eat well, like right before your cycle, so that your body is, well nourished. Don't eat McDonald's while you're on your cycle, because, your body is already dealing with the cramps and the tearing of the lining of the uterus. And I ain't even mean to talk about this, but it's the truth. And so your stomach and your uterus are real close. And so if you eat something that's hard to digest, it's going to make your cycle event be worse. So try to eat as light, healthy, clean. Things are easy to digest. Basically anything that's found in nature. So I would say a lot of fruit, salads, just things are easy to digest. Stay away from the junk and the sugar, because it's just going to make that time of the month harder for you. And that's something that you need to learn how to do, is learn how to manage the time of the month. Learn how to manage your emotions during that time. Because you might be a bit emotional. You might be upset because you're just uncomfortable. Your body hurt. So you have every right to be, uncomfortable and upset. But learn how to manage it. Learn how to have your little kit that you're supposed to have with you, like an extra pair of pants, extra pair of underwear, some wipes, some sanitary, whatever you use, tampons, napkins, whatever you use, so that in the event that you do have an accident or something happens, that you can correct it yourself without having to, have your mom or somebody come up there or, use whatever the school may have. It's going to be some ugly jogging pants, something like that. So, prepare. And as a woman, as a young woman, you need to learn yourself, what you need, what you like, what you desire, because this is the time for that. I know sometimes we think that it's the time to try and get in relationships, but it's really not. The relationship that you need to be getting into is with yourself. You need to learn who you are. Learn if your skin is oily or dry. And usually at this age, it is just excessively oily because you're young. But learn how to take care of your skin. Learn how to moisturize because you want to look good as you get older. And how you age is going to be how you take care of yourself physically and the type of life that you expose yourself to. A lot of heavy drinking, heavy smoking, and stress are the things that's going to age you, especially stress. Nothing is going to age you more than stress. Stress is like an accelerator. It's going to accelerate everything, your heart rate, everything. You too young. Your life is new. Plan it out. When things cause you a great deal of stress, it's not for you anymore. And I remember like my daughter, she didn't want to play basketball anymore, and I was just so hurt, and I'm still like so hurt because she was so good, but she always told me this is not the only thing that I'm going to be good at, and I had to accept that. And that she didn't want to play anymore. She said, I'm tired of being sore. I'm tired of, all these different things that come with being an athlete because it is a very serious thing. And for those that are athletes and are going down that path, I am so proud of you. If that's the path that you choose, it can give you an education, but it's a lot of sacrifices involved. And goodness gracious me, for the parents and the families and everybody. But it's an experience, and I think it's a blessing to be an athlete. If God has given you natural talent, then that is a blessing. But everybody have their path. And I know it's a lot of sacrifices involved with being an athlete. So if you are, take care of your body because that is your commodity. Take care of your body and take care of your talent and make sure that you are developing your talent, trying to get better, trying to practice. Don't just show up thinking everything is going to work, especially if you're very, very talented, because talent will open doors, but preparation will keep them open. Talent will get you in a place, but preparation will keep you there because talent in and of itself will run out. The dedication and the discipline is what will keep you there. So keep that in mind. And when you are developing your life, slow and steady wins the race. We don't have to be in a rush, but slow and steady wins the race. Like I say, learn your lessons or they're going to continue to repeat themselves until you do. You're going to keep bumping your head. If you driving too fast all the time and you're having infraction after infraction, you're going to have to learn to slow down. You're going to have to learn to prepare better. You're going to have to learn to get up at a decent time so that you're not rushing. I think rushing is just like the worst thing because it takes you off your square. It takes you off your focus. You need to be focusing on school, work, whatever you're doing, but it just takes you off because now your brain, you should have a lot of, I would say, practices so that you don't have to try to remember everything. And so a practice is I put my keys here on the table, in the cup, wherever I put them on this hook so that I don't have to remember where I put my keys. I put my book bag here on the bench, on the hook, wherever in my room, on the floor, so that I don't have to remember where they are. Those practices are going to help you because you don't have to think about those things. You can already know. You can just out of habit pick up those things and go where you need to go. I remember when I was young with small kids, my first one I was good, but that second one, that was a lot because now I have to manage my life and these two little people's lives, and I still have a husband. And so with my son, it was hard trying to manage. Like with my daughter, it was a breeze. But when I had that second baby, I was like, oh, this is a lot. And I remember I would forget things, and I'm not really a forgetful person. And I remember my daughter, we were like at McDonald's, and I would take them like once a week to McDonald's to the play place and let them play and eat. And one day we had to leave because I didn't have enough Pampers. And she was so upset, and she was like, but I don't want to leave. I'm playing. And I'm like, I'm sorry, we have to go. And so after that, like say we would be going out the door, she would look at me and say, do you have your cell phones, your keys, and your purse? Like, and she was like 2 years old. Do you have your cell phone, your keys, and your purse? Because she knew without these things, we can't leave the house. And so I had to learn to develop practices. I had to learn to develop a practice of, if I was out with the kids, when I got home, I had to repack the baby bag. I mean, I had to put extra formula, bottles of water, wipes, Pampers, whatever I use, clean clothes, whatever I use, because I work far away from my job. So if I had to take my kids with me, we were an hour away from home. So I had to be prepared. And so those are the things that you need to learn to prepare now. The better you prepare in your youth, the more prepared you'll be as you get older, because you'll have good practices. You'll have good habits. You'll learn to get up on time and go to bed on time. That was a hard lesson I had to learn, going to bed on time. And then it would kind of short circuit my morning, and you're rushing, and it's just a whole episode. Nothing that you want in your life. So it's important to prepare. As young women, right now you are just in control of yourself. And even young men, you are in control of yourself. And you need to be in complete control of yourself and be responsible for the things that are important to you. Be responsible with, if you trying to go out for the weekend, you need to say something to your parents ahead of time. Make your plan, how you going to get there, how you going to get back. Because parents do not like last minute plans, because we have lives too, and that you need to organize your life. If you have practice, you need to get you a calendar and put your practices on there. If you have different meetings, like with your different groups that you are in high school, what are those little things called? Just after school programs. Like, say if you in the chess club or this club or yearbook club, you need to put that on a calendar, so that you can make sure that you're attending, your responsibilities. So it's a lot growing up as a young man, a young woman, but prepare now. Like I say, now is not the time to be in full-fledged relationships. You can have friends, but relationships are typically just going to be a distraction. They're going to be kind of something you really shouldn't be trying to get into, because what happens is, if that person is going through something, then you're going to be kind of going through it with them. And it's going to be more intense than if it was your friend. Like, your best girlfriend, your best guy friend, you're going through it, but, you can kind of keep some boundaries. But when you're in a relationship, it's a little different, because you feel like I should be there for them and this, that, and the third, but you need to be focusing on yourself. Because I have found that kids are going through real things, like not just parents, kids are going through real things, real emotions, real issues, social media, teachers and principals, and just the environments. And it's a lot. I feel for this generation of kids, but I'm also excited because you all have so much in front of you and so many opportunities. If you choose the right path, you can do well. You really can. And that, is awesome. But you got to put yourself in good positions to be able to get good things happening in your life. Strive to be the best version of yourself. That's a practice that you should have as a young man, young woman. Strive to be the best version of yourself. Watch your attitude with your parents. I understand that you're frustrated and you're going through things, but learn to communicate in an effective way with your parents. They'll listen, because if we learn to listen to our kids, then they'll learn to speak up in different environments. And that's why I really try to make it a practice to listen to my kids, because I want them to be comfortable with talking to adults and comfortable with saying what it is that's on their mind, saying how they feel, what's happening to them. Because I never want them to be in a situation where they just have to kind of do as they told. No, you have to do what's best for you. And you have to be able to speak up for yourself, but you have to be able to do it in a respectful way, so that adults respect what you're saying. Because if you come off with attitude, your body language, they're going to be less likely to understand what you're saying. But you have to communicate with your parents and let them know, hey, this is what I'm going through. This is what it looks like, as best you can, because they'll help you. You just have to tell them what it is. Strive to be the best version of yourself. And growth is easier to grow and mature than to change. It's easier to grow and mature than to change. So that means that growth is, it hurts because growth, it's called growing pains for a reason. And growth hurts. But changing it really hurts. And change means that you are already setting in bad habits. But if you're growing and maturing, you just kind of going from one level to the next level, to the next level, to the next level. And that's where you should be going. One level, just like you're going from a freshman to a sophomore to a junior, you elevate and you're going from one level to the next. And you want to go through the levels because you want to excel. You want to do well. You want to do well in school. You want to do well in your jobs, because not doing well is stressful. Not getting good grades is stressful. Ask for the help that you need if you're in school, and don't be ashamed to take the help that you need. If you need extra help, say something. Say, hey, I think I need a little bit of extra time on this test. It's not as easy for me as it may be for somebody else. Because whatever the situation is, whether it be you have a learning disability or a delay or whatever it is, you just need more time. I think I needed more time just because I froze when it, came time to take tests. I wasn't as confident. It took me years to get past that. But I could do well on all my assignments, but I wouldn't do well on a test because I would just freeze. And so I had to develop practices that said, okay, relax, calm down, do this, do that, so that I could go into the test confident, not just knowing that I studied, but that I was in a right frame of mind. Get what you need, because a lot of schools will give you what you need. Get what you need. Do not be embarrassed. I was telling one kid, like, you don't even know if the other kids going to achieve. You don't even know if they're going to graduate. You don't even know if they're going to succeed. Do not sit up here and try to regulate your life based on what somebody else going to think. And that's the part of love yourself first. Love yourself first. Love yourself enough to get the grades that you need to get. Love yourself enough to get the help that you need, to focus on the things that are important to you. Love yourself. Love yourself. And loving yourself looks like action. It looks like taking the steps that you need to take in order to get the things that you need. You can do well in school. Even with everything that's going on, you can still do well in school. Do not be discouraged. Like I say, when I was a freshman, sophomore, I didn't do as well because I was distracted, But once I kind of was taught some study habits, man, the sky was the limit, and I was so proud of myself. And getting good grades makes you feel good about yourself. And you have to know that grades in school, it turns into work. That's just what it turns into. If you can do well in school, then you can do well at work. And figure out, what it is that you want, what it is that you desire, what makes you happy, because you need to choose a life for yourself. As young people, the first part of life is your parents going to teach you as much as they can so that you can succeed. But the definition of adulthood is now they have taught me all that they have taught me. Now, who do I choose to be? Because that's what being an adult is. Who do I choose to be? What do I choose to believe in? What values do I have? Because that's what being an adult is. They've taught you all they know. Now you got to choose who you're going to be. They've taught you to work hard. You can choose to be lazy, or you can see what they get you. You can choose to not turn in your assignments and just not care, and whatever the case is, but that's going to get you what it gets you. As a young person, you have to choose who you are going to be. Who are you going to be in this world? What kind of impact do you want to make, and what kind of life you want to have for yourself? If you don't want to do well and you don't pick good careers, you're not going to have income. And if you don't partner well, you're not going to have a good life. For you all, this next generation, you had better make some money. And you had better be responsible, because life is expensive. And you might want to ask your parents how much money they make, because you're going to need to probably make more than them to sustain the lifestyle that you used to. Like I tell my kids, I got money, you do not. I have a home, you do not. And I tell them, hey, you're going to need to make X, Y, Z if you want to be successful. Because like my daughter, I say, hey, you used to good things. You used to eating well, sleeping well, living well. You need to be able to at least at least make a lateral move, meaning that you want to go from a good environment to a good environment. You don't want to go from living in a nice home in a nice neighborhood to living with criminals in neighborhoods that if you leave your garage door open, all your stuff gonna be gone. If you turn your back, it's gonna be gone. And so, you might think your parents own you, but life is gonna come. It's gonna come, and it's gonna come fast. I can remember being 17. I can remember being 16. And I enjoyed my young adult life because I enjoyed that more than I did being a teenager because I've been grown for a long time, been responsible for a long time. But I do remember thinking like, man, that was just like a blink of an eye. And here I am. So life is going to, keep on moving. And one thing I'm going to tell you is time is not going to wait for anybody. Don't waste your youth on being irresponsible. Don't waste your youth on making bad decisions. Although you're going to make some because that's just part of what it is. But try to learn your lessons quickly so you can move forward and be ahead of the game and not be behind. I hope you have enjoyed this tea with Tasha. I'm going to continue on this subject. Like, share, and to my baby girls and my young men, I call them my young bloods. I'm rooting for you. I hope you do well. Until we meet again.